Hey guys, and welcome back. I am the Seven Swords. I was just about to use the fast travel system to get to Mazulf because I didn't feel like walking there, in all honesty. When I was going to talk to these Khajiit real quick to check their items, and I realized this is the one that has the Daedric set. I understand you sold a set of Daedric armor.
That is the truth.
Trade it for this ring. It's just as valuable and easier to carry. This ring of is a Khajiit artifact. I think you should trade it for the armor set. The armor was stolen. Trade it for this ring before the guards notice. I'd like to buy it off you for 5,000 gold. I'll offer them the 5,000 gold and pay for it.
Okay, you've talked me into it.
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only.
Oh, was he trying to talk to me? Okay, so we got this Daedric artifact armor, which is light armor.
Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. I've got a letter and a lot of gold. Something about it being your, inheritance. Oh, and sorry for your loss. A letter. Not sure who from. He wouldn't say, just that he was a friend of yours. Looks like that's it. Got to go.
I got a letter of inheritance and a letter from a friend. Interesting. Letters from a friend are interesting. I have my own theories on that. We might talk about that since we just got one. What's this letter of inheritance? In the name of y'all, Lael Lawgiver, it is with great regret to inform you of Ilya's death. Who is Ilya? 1 second, I will be right back. And we are back. And I now awkwardly know who Ilya is. Probably an awkward situation for Sarah. A power at Hag's End. Interesting. Is that what I think that is? Find the power at Hag's End. Like I said, we're going to use the fast travel system because I don't feel like walking there. That's the camp. That's Hag's End. Huh. I thought Hag's End was where Ilya is from. Ilya is that mage we got from down here at the Darklight Tower, and then we sacrificed to a Boethia for the male. So it's kind of interesting that we got that inheritance because we did that a long time ago. That courier must have been waiting a while to deliver that one. But like I said, we're gonna go ahead and just teleport to Mazulf. I don't feel like walking there, and we did search. I did search a little bit more of the I did search a tiny bit more of the what do you call it? Of the Clockwork Towers dungeon. Did not find any more cogs. We only have 4 cogs right now. And I did attempt to I did notice that the guy with the many hearts, the guy that they said you couldn't kill, yada yada yada, he's actually gone. So that's probably an in-game thing. That's probably the dungeons resetting and all that stuff again. Even though like getting into that area is still blocked off and all that. I personally am going to chalk it up to that being a canon thing, that he is gone. That's part of that whole. This would not be the first time he has died or something like that. She said when we were talking to her about it. There's one. See, like I said, these are gonna be. It's gonna be a lot easier to find them in these normal dungeons. It was kind of foolish of me to go there. I partially wanted to go there just to re-explore it, and I am kind of glad we did it because we did get quite a bit of things. How are we doing? Because that was like, what was that, like 6 cogs in a few seconds? We're up to 8, so that was 4 cogs in 4 minutes, and part of that was me getting here and me getting that letter of inheritance. So we got a little inheritance from Eritha. It's surprising that she gave us an inheritance. She was with us pretty much the entire time. Then again, it's not really like it does it. There's actually a way that there's a spell you can learn. Not a spell. There's an ability you can get, which basically allows you to turn other people into vampires. If you're a vampire with the Better Vampires mod, I've actually turned this body, the one that's actually right here. This adventurer is normally here in every game. I have turned him into a vampire, and then after a little bit, gotten a letter of his inheritance because he died later on or something. So like, it's just as soon as somebody is considered a good friend of yours, as soon as their character dies, or at some point after their character dying, you get a letter of inheritance. I am also noticing his body's gone. Maybe the Thalmor? Or the Fulmor? Not the Thalmor. Don't start blaming everything on the Thalmor. We'll turn into the Blades leader. I also have my own thoughts on her. We'll talk about her, though, when she becomes relevant. And it's less me spoiling. We also are going to need these things. That's actually part of the quest that we're currently doing. Looking for these Dwemer cogs for that guy. I've done this quest before. Like I said, I like this quest because I think it's pretty good. I think it's really interesting. We get some pretty cool Dwemer artifacts out of this. Sarah's not going to find them too interesting because she's not going to because she doesn't quite understand them. But they are super interesting to anyone who's a Dwemer fan, and I actually am a big fan of the Dwemers. They're actually one of my favorite groups in Skyrim, or the Elder Scrolls in general. The only other group I could say I like more than the Dwemer is the Knights of Nine. And I can only say I like the Knights of Nine better because I got a lot more of their information from the DLC in Oblivion about them. If I ever do an Oblivion playthrough, which is a plan of mine eventually, I just want to buy the Oblivion remastered version. I just don't want to spend more than $20 on a game I already own pretty much, and all I'm getting is a reskin of it. I might eventually swallow my pride if it gets down to under 30 again, and if I decide that it's worth it. Since I do want to do an Oblivion playthrough. I plan on playing Lizzie in that one though. And it's probably not going to be super modded. I'm not going to want to spend time trying to sit down and mod it because, for one, I don't know very many mods that Oblivion could have, and I don't know much about the Oblivion mod set, so I wouldn't know what to add. I wouldn't know what to do. I might look into modding it, maybe. It's not going to be anytime soon. It's not going to be a Let's Play that's anytime soon. And whether or not I decide to mod it or not is not going to be part of the factor of whether or not I make one. It's more of just me just trying to decide if Oblivion is something that I want to do. If it's something I want to buy, and if it's something that I want to do. That's 9. We just need one more cog. This was a much better idea than going to Mazulf or going to Nerethendral or whatever the place is called. The other thing I liked about the Knights of Nine is that, as far as I remember, I could say most of the names in that one. The Dwemer are nice, but the fact that they're a different race and a different language is making it very difficult. I understand that it's kind of it's kind of like why I shouldn't be comparing a small group to an entire race, but yeah, that's the reason why I am not trying to do it too harshly. I like them both. I find them both fascinating, and they're both on par with each other. I will give it credit that the reason why they're on par is because the Knights of Nine had their own quest line, and there was a lot I learned about them. And so far for the Dwemer, while we've had a lot of Dwemer quest lines, we've never really had the answer of them, of their species or of their group, answered. Not that I'm ever expecting it to get an answer. Um, I've talked to people before about the theories on the next Elder Scrolls, and most people I've talked to have agreed that they're under the impression the next Elder Scrolls is going to be something along the lines of a Hammerfell playthrough, which obviously not the one I would have wanted. I would have wanted a High Rock because I like Bretons, or I would have liked to have gone to. I told somebody I wanted to go down to Vardenfell and elsewhere. I wanted to do a Vardenfell elsewhere there with a DLC that took you to the Somerset Isles, because I think that'd be cool. We're at 10 minutes, and we currently have found all but one of the cogs. We just need one more cog. The problem with it is, like, I'm not even in a place that I know for a fact is going to have 10 cogs, or the amount of cogs that we need. I am finding it interesting that we're finding all these researchers. I am tempted to see if that guy is still down here. The one that we enthralled, even though Sarah wasn't really entirely sure why she did it. She just kind of did it and then went about her life. Because she is curious if he continued his enthrallment after her being cured of vampirism by becoming a werewolf, and then being cured of being a werewolf. It shouldn't have affected him that she was a werewolf if he maintained his enthrallment. But I do stick by what she did. I think she did it for the betterment of the college. I think she was afraid of what would happen if he went back to Cyrodiil and talked about what the college had been doing. That they were already dealing with the Thalmor. They didn't need to deal with more. I don't see any cogs in there, so I'm not going to bother opening that. This might be the... I think this is actually the area that has the, where there's the, what do you call it? Where there's the room that's got like a master lock on it, and I skipped over it because I was like, I'm not dealing with a master lock right now. If it is, we might be opening that master lock. I think it's hilarious though that Mazulf has reset. I mean that Neanderthal has reset, but Mazulf hasn't. Definitely an interesting thought process, since I'm pretty sure we were away from Neanderthal longer, but I'm pretty sure Mazulf was pretty much right on par with it. So it's kind of funny that we didn't get a reset on Mazulf. Although this might not reset. This might have some kind of code that keeps it from resetting. And it's always possible that it did reset it. The bad guys just didn't come back. And that would be an understanding, since the guild would come back no matter what. Oh, it's somewhere off to the right. Very close. Let's try right here. That was close. Here? Nope. So, like, a little bit on the dot. There we go. Lunar Lorcan. My cat is apparently wanting my attention for some reason. What? I'm recording. Shush. Going to cause problems if you keep meowing at me while I'm recording. Not that I could ever not that I could ever be mad at her. I just noticed something about what I could do with this that I'm interested in doing, just to see if I can figure it out. So I'm actually really glad we didn't fight too much with this to get into here, because that was nothing good. But if I did this and then I do this, oh cool. This is everything that's stolen, and I don't have anything stolen on me right now. Cool. Neat. At least I think that's how that works. I might be wrong. Haha! That's the 10th cog. We will continue on. We're just going to end up teleporting back using Mage's Gift again. Or Mage's Sanctuary again. I want to get to where he is, or at least where he was, and see if he's still there. I don't think he's gonna be. I would not be surprised if he is not, because I would not be surprised if his character wanders off like most characters do. And despawn somewhere, especially since he's supposed to go back to Tamriel. If he did, it's not a big deal. Like I said, it was more of a personal curiosity. I'm also noticing all these bodies. I did not notice all these people when I originally came through this quest, and I'm wondering if, well, I'm wondering why that would be. Like, I feel like I know some of them, I just didn't notice how many there were. We've seen at least like 6, I think. But, let's see. I believe this is the big central room. Yes, it is. Where we can go off towards the, what I think is like a judgment court area and then something else. And then this is where he was. Is that him? Oh, wow, it is. He is still actually standing here.
Yes? Yes? You want something from me? Yes? Don't suppose you'd want to take that fire somewhere else? You know, somewhere away from me? Yes? Need something? Yes? You want something from me?
So he doesn't seem like he's lost his enthrallment, so the magic seems like it's held. I wonder if that's useful. She probably finds this fascinating, being the fact that she's now been so far from where she was when she was here. Still seems like it's still... Maybe residual magic is messing with it. It is interesting how you can see how this is all of Skyrim, and then this is Cyrodiil, this is Morrowind, this is Elsewhere, this is Vardenfell, this is the Somerset Isles, this is High Rock, and then this is no, this is, I think this is Hammerfall, and I think this is High Rock. Yeah, I think this is Hammerfall, and I think this is High Rock. I was originally going to switch the two, which is why I corrected myself and then completely said what I was saying again. But another thing to do is go back to Labyrinthia. There's a lot of stuff in There's some stuff in Labyrinthia we haven't done. Grab a few more of those just in case we haven't, just to make sure we have enough. Can't move these anymore. This isn't the only one of these we'll see. I was kind of hoping we could take it. It's interesting to come back here. Not surprised that anything's changed. It's interesting that he's still here. I wonder if that's because he's been because I turned him into vampire cattle, and I wonder if like he's now stuck here because the vampire cattle like can't move around as much. It's interesting to think he's still here though, because
yes.
How has he been surviving?
You want something from me?
Nope. We might as well head back out to Skyrim and then head back to the College of Winterhold. It's interesting to find that he is still here, but there's nothing to be done about it. Even if she could free him from the spell she has him under, she wouldn't. He does. I've said this before, and I think I should talk about it again. I don't think Sarah is, by any means, a good character. I think when it comes down to it, I think she is for the betterment of herself. And I just noticed, are we not wearing any gloves at all? I'm not. Am I not wearing any gauntlets or gloves at all? Good clothes. Apparently we are not. Do we have anything on that's... I mean, I could put the Daedric gauntlets on, but... Wow, I didn't realize I wasn't wearing gloves. I wonder how long that's been a thing. We're gonna go see the guy, though. We're gonna take him his pieces. Go ahead and grab a bite to eat real quick. And then we might head back to, Clockwork Castle again, where I will probably enchant a pair of gloves and possibly even grab a what do you call it? I don't know where they're all going.
Perhaps we can go another few decades without a disaster.
Here's the cogs you asked for.
That's excellent news. This will be most helpful in furthering my research. I'm afraid I can't offer you much right now, but please take this. And perhaps, if this is all successful... Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's too early to be getting excited. Still, this is most encouraging. Thank you again. If I require anything else, I shall be sure and let you know.
Do you
As
need
a
more
matter
help?
of fact, there is something you can do for me. I had retained Enther's services in, acquiring, but now he's refusing to deliver. Could you perhaps speak with him and see if we can come to some sort of arrangement? All right, then.
We are going to go talk to Enthor. I am curious,
Good to
though.
see Skyrim still has such fine people. You give
Okay,
an
weird.
old man
I've actually had them a couple of times come in here and like do talks like as teachers, and like I try to like if I ever see them getting ready to do something like that, I always try to be on the
Like it or not,
area.
you are a shining example to future generations of college mages.
I don't know how she'd feel about that. We're going to turn these off for now. We're going to turn off this. We're going to turn off this. She is kind of focusing on this endeavor.
And to think Mirabelle questioned my allowing you into the college. I can just... Certainly a few of my
That was
colleagues
surprising.
aren't quite as talented as they'd like to believe.
I'm
There you
quite
are.
pleased that we're back to business as usual.
I understand you have something for Arnels.
Oh dear. He's so afraid to talk to me, he's sending you to do it? I should have expected as much. I'm afraid you've been a little misinformed. I have something of mine that I was going to sell to Arniel. With all due respect, Archmage, I'm not in a position to just give this away. I told Arniel what I wanted in exchange for it, and he was unwilling to come up with it. Now, if you're here on his behalf, I'm afraid I'm going to have to insist on my original payment.
What is it that you want?
I have a friend, let's say, who's interested in a staff. A particular one. It's nothing dangerous, so don't worry. I'm not even sure why he wants it, but then that's not really my concern. He's willing to pay for it. The problem is that it'll be a little difficult to acquire, seeing as how it's in the hands of someone who isn't exactly friendly. So you bring that staff back here, and I'll consider it payment for the item Arniel was after.
Sure.
All right, then.
That's a very odd way of getting this quest. I forgot about this quest. I actually thought I was supposed to talk to him, and I was going to either be given the option to either intimidate him or pay him up in straight up gold, or basically order him and say, "Hey, this is I'm the Archmage, and you are going to give this guy the item he's requested, or I'm going to expel you." But I can understand why that's not the case. I can understand why Sarah probably agreed to this. I think she now has a curiosity in this staff. She does have curiosity in magic. I don't know if I've ever really gone into detail on that, but she does have a curious mind when it comes to different types of magic. She does have a curiosity for magic, one that probably has been the reason why she's been so fascinating with learning magic. I do know I said that we were going to go to Clockwork Castle, sleep, and enchant some gloves, and do all that stuff. Yeah, I forgot. So, nope, not this time. Maybe the next chance I get to go to Clockwork, will do it. Don't feel like fighting you guys, so no. No. And no. I'm tempted to use the calm spell a lot more, just because of the fact that I do want to train my illusion skill as well. I'm trying not to use this too much, because I know that the screen, it makes the screen all cute, all kooky. But I'm also trying to make this relatively quick. The last one was a bit of a yaunt, so I'm hoping to make this one quickly. Not to mention, I think that there's a part of Sarah that really wants to do this quickly. She's very fascinating on what Arniel wants, and maybe this will give her a clue. I don't like what he's planning on doing. She might also be doing this because of the fact that she's Archmage. She needs to, like, make sure the college is safe. And if Arniel is trying to do something dangerous, she wants to know about it. Like I said, I already know what he's up to. I've already done this quest before. I particularly like this quest. I don't remember what originally got me to do this quest. I think I actually saw it online. I think I saw somebody do a spotlight of it on YouTube. So I was like, ooh, that's interesting. I want to do that. Really? Well, that's annoying. Okay then. Bye, bear. Bye, bear. Bye, bear. I'm wondering if I'm getting close to the entrance, or if that's something else. I'm tempted to go inside this barrow even if this is not the entrance. Yinglinveld. Interesting. Might be the entrance. Might be what we're looking for. Yes, it is. Sweet. I was hoping so. I could do some more Dragon Ruins, especially if they have words of power in them. I'd like a few more words of power. I don't remember this place, though. The name sounds familiar, which is odd. This is what I think this is. This is one of the most screwed up quests I think I've ever seen in Skyrim, and this is a base game thing. Like, Bethesda's the one who came up with this. Sleeping here might be an option, and if it is, we might do it. Let's see. Yep, I'm under the impression this is the quest I think it is. This is one of the most screwed up quests in all of Skyrim, and not because of what we do, it's because of what was going on here. We might talk about it. There's a ghost. Oops. Alright, so if you want to read that, you can. I may end up having to mark this as an 18-year-old or years or older mod, or an 18 years or older video. I'm not going to talk about why, and I'm not going to talk about why this is screwed up. I might. I feel like if I talk about it, I've got to mark it as 18-year-old or plus, but I mean, I've already talked about that, so. All right, so this is gonna be another one of those marked 18 years or plus. This is the reason. This quest is the reason why. So basically, the journal we picked up and a couple of the other ones in here. I'm gonna spoil the entire quest. I'm not gonna read the journal because I don't want to read it. Personally, it's not something that I'm very much happy or comfortable with. But basically, the guy that is down here was bringing people back from the dead, specifically women, and basically committing necrophilia with them. It's one reason why most of these Draga and ghosts that we're going to see, especially the ghosts, are all going to be females. I personally have a lot of reasons why I disagree with this, or more than just the usuals. Most people are going to have an uncomfortable thought process of it because of the fact that it's necrophilia. I take it to another step further, that I don't believe any of these women would have consented to this. So I do not agree with it at all. I feel like it is something that is, for lack of a better term, completely and utterly vulgar and disgusting. That it's something that I do not like. I feel like this quest does a fine job with it. It's not a quest that you'll normally run into. It's not a quest that you can easily... It's not a quest that you'll run into very often, and it's something that you have to read into it in order to get the information, so it is kind of hidden under a few walls, and it's not like he ever does anything that we see. So it'd be different if he talked about it or did something while you were doing this quest. That would make me feel like it was too far. We are going to be trying to find all 4, I think there are, journals. Mostly because you need the journals for another quest. Someone wants them. And I don't know if it's an option not to give it to them, but part of me thinks that if it is Sarah might just choose not to give it to them. I may choose not to finish that quest at all. I may choose to just ignore that quest. Like I said, I will look at all 4 journals at the end to allow for anybody who wants to read these journals to read them, but I will not be reading them. I will not condole in that.
What was that? Huh?
Now see, this scene, this could have been a messed up way of them, bringing it out of the book and into this world. And it looks like there was only 3, unless he has one on him. I now have no misgivings about killing this guy, taking his staff from him. Creatures and people up to 12 won't fight for 60 seconds. Oh, it's basically the calm spell. Okay, he's got some relatively decent gear. Fear potion recipe and a key. Like I said, I've said my piece on this. I don't agree with the entirety of this quest. I understand putting it in. I understand what it is, but I do not personally like where it goes. It's creepy. It's odd. It's not something myself would be able to normally show any interest in. It's also weird that they stick around after he's gone. Oh, there's the 4th journal. I was like, I thought there was a 4th journal. Like I said, if you want to pause the video for it, I'm going to bring the books up real quick so that you can get the full story. But again, I will not be reading it. I do not want to reread this. I do feel like it's a bit of a interest. I don't like it because of the fact that of how bad it is. I do understand like bits of it, but like I said, I'm not going to. I was not on there for very long. I'm not going to. I'm not going to go into any detail with this because I don't want this to be marked with any problems. Like I said, I might mark this as an 18-year-old or plus. If it's not, then I might get smacked by YouTube and then have to place it as 18-year-old or plus just because of this quest. But I don't agree with this. Obviously, we are going to sleep here. It is just a bedroom. It is just a virtual bedroom. There are rose petals on the bed. But Sarah is exhausted, so she doesn't have much of a choice. She is going to sleep here. As far as Sarah, she would definitely feel very much hatred towards this character for doing this. Not to mention, not just because of the fact of how she personally feels on the matter, but it's also, this is one of the most disrespectful things you can do to the dead. Like, I think he even killed some of them, and that alone would have been bad. But then he brought their souls back and tortured their souls. Like that would be even worse. So, yeah. Sarah's definitely glad that she came across this one. This is where he kept all of the bodies of the ones that he resurrected their souls and not their bodies. I can imagine Sarah finding it interesting just because of the fact that the idea of resurrecting souls would be interesting to her. I mentioned before that she was a D&D character with a bit of an interesting story. We'll go into a little bit of detail about that just so it can be understood why why she would have found this interesting. In the D&D world, she is what's known as her father and herself. I mentioned her father was a lich. Her father was actually what in my D&D world what is called a light lich. Now, what a light lich is that unlike most liches, where most liches they appear undead, they have very unpleasant sights, stuff like that. Sarah was not. Her father and her were not, because she inherited the light lich, because that's how it works. You can do a ritual to become a light lich, but you can also just inherit it from your parents. I mentioned the fact that her father was a lich, and the fact that he would not be able to procreate thanks to being a lich. And I mentioned the fact that I was going to go into more detail on that later. Now is a good time to do that. Sarah is not a normal person. She is not like everyone else. She was not born from her mother. She was not born from in the normal way. She is a homunculus, designed by her father, and with some implementation from her mother, even though her father never knew that. Her father originally thought he tricked her mother into thinking that this was their daughter. Her mother saw the homunculus as their daughter because she knew that there would never be another way to have a daughter. Um, George, that's the name of her father, would never have been able to have father a child because he was a necromancer, because he was a lich. His body was um, no longer considered mortal, so he can't have kids in my world. Um, what they did was they created a child um, using a couple of different things. Why is this not working? I did switch over to the power, right? Oh, no, I didn't. I switched over to Zenithar's Blink. Oopsies. Where are we? There we go. Mage's Haven. But they created Sarah, and Sarah eventually found this out. Sarah eventually found out she was, a homunculus, not an actual person. She was a constructed life form, not a normal life form, but she was okay with that. What she also found out later was that she is a light lich. And what light liches are is, while they don't look like liches, their biggest thing about them is that they're more in tune with the souls than they are with the dead bodies. They're more in tune with the dead because they're more in tune with the souls. And Sarah was big on having acts, and Sarah would eventually find out that not only was her father a very powerful light lich, he was one of the most powerful light liches in existence, but he was also the son of the god of death in that world. The god of death, Reverence, was the god of death was her grandmother, and George was supposed to be the.
I'm quite pleased that we're back to business as usual.
Taking a break from that real quick. Here is your staff.
Well. All right. You delivered on your end, so I'll deliver on mine. Here's the gem Arniel was after. Can't imagine what he expects to do with that. It's warped beyond any ability to capture a soul.
A warped soul gem. Let's take a look at this thing. This thing probably feels just wrong in Sarah's hands. A warped soul gem. Doesn't look different from most, but I think she has the idea of why it's the way it is. She probably can feel the energy around it being wrong and strange. And
Perhaps we can go another few decades without a disaster. That would be nice.
I've got the soul gem you were after.
Do you? Wonderful. I was afraid I'd have to give up. And when I'm so close. Thank you for this. I have a great deal of work ahead of me. Divines bless you. May the ground you walk quake as you pass.
How's the project coming?
Terrible. Just terrible. I vastly underestimated the heat transfer necessary and have destroyed my only working model. I'm at a loss.
I am not sure what you're talking
Look,
about.
it's all very simple. The Dwemer, they were, masters of magic in a way we can't even begin to conceive of. Their greatest achievement, however, has also been their greatest, shall we say, mystery.
We are going to finish this soon. Actually, we're going to go ahead and finish this now. We'll pick up this conversation in the next one because I don't want to go over 45. So, see you guys in the next one.